What's going on, everybody? This is Sean of Raw Select Music. Today I want to talk about this record right here. This is the Beach Boys versus J Dilla, Pet Sounds in the Key of D. This is a record that I've wanted for a long time because I had the MP3s for it, but never had the vinyl up until recently. I saw that Jet Set, one of my favorite Japanese record stores, had a listing for it, and I jumped on this absolutely immediately. Plus, as a little bonus, comes on this beautiful green vinyl. And since buying it on vinyl, I've been thinking a little bit more about this record recently, and thinking about how I don't think there's a lot of people out there that know about this record. So I thought now would be as good a time as any to talk about this guy and let you know why I think it's worth checking out. So, with that little introduction out of the way, let's talk about this guy. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with this record, Bullion originally released it back in 2007 as a free MP3 download. It was released on vinyl in 2009 and then reissued most recently in 2015. As far as I can tell from the little bit of research that I've done, this is the 2015 reissue. And as far as the background about this record, Bullion decided that he wanted to release a tribute to J Dilla, although I'm not entirely sure on the reason why he chose Pet Sounds as the source material for sampling for this album. Doesn't really matter. I think Pet Sounds actually works really, really well as just great sample material. And I've always been an admirer of a producer who takes either a genre of music, an artist's music, or just a single album's music in order to craft their own project. And in that regards, Bullion's done an amazing job. He's kept the original aesthetic of Pet Sounds intact. So there's a lot of lush arrangements, there's a lot of pop hooks on here, a lot of Brian Wilson's vocals and the vocal harmonies, and it's all just really cleverly chopped up throughout the album. So you get little vocal stabs here and there, You get little melodic sample chops throughout the album. All the different instrumentation that the Beach Boys used throughout the Pet Sounds album. So there's lots of flutes, horns, strings, the whole 9 yards. If you're a fan of Pet Sounds, you might also be interested in hearing this, because this is essentially like a total remix of the Beach Boys music. In terms of it being a tribute to J Dilla, I do think that Bullion does a really good job of imitating J Dilla's sound. There's a lot of really hard drums on here. A lot of chops are actually pretty similar to a lot of the chops that are on Donuts, meaning that there's a lot of little sort of vocal hiccups mixed in with some loop. There's a lot of different sampling techniques that Bullion employs on this record. I will say the majority of the tracks on here are a lot more up-tempo than normally I would expect for this kind of music, as a lot of sort of beat music or instrumental hip-hop tends to fluctuate between the 80 BPM to 90 BPM range. This is mostly 90 BPM and up, which I think actually fits the Beach Boys music pretty well, because a lot of the music from Pet Sounds was sort of sweet and very pastoral. It had sort of like an outdoorsy sort of vibe to it, and also to a certain degree like a little bit of bittersweetness to it as well. And I think the way that Bullion has decided to keep this project largely up-tempo has made it a, just in general, a much more fun project to listen to than seemingly some of the more self-serious beat tapes that are out there. In terms of the quality of the beats on here, Bullion does an excellent job. The drums are hard. There's a lot of like really interesting chops in terms of throwing you for a loop, sometimes giving you a sort of long little passage from Pet Sounds and then hitting you with a really hard chop, and occasionally using some J Dilla samples to sort of reinforce the theme that this is a tribute to J Dilla. And in all honesty, there's really not a weak moment on here. It's consistently interesting throughout. The head nod factor on this is way off the charts, and that's largely due to the incredible drums. It'll occasionally throw you a curveball and go in a direction that you don't expect. It's creative, it's unique, it's a really fun record to listen to. I would say at the end of the day, if I had to give it any sort of minor criticism, it would be that I wish some of these ideas were a little bit longer, since a lot of the tracks on here on the longest end of the spectrum, I think they're only about 3 minutes. But on the short end, they're only about a minute to a minute and a half. Pretty similar to a lot of the tracks on Donuts. But overall, I don't think that really detracts too much away from the overall enjoyment of this record. So if you ever come across this guy, the Beach Boys versus J Dilla, Pet Sounds in the Key of D, highly recommend that you check it out. And at the very least, even if you don't pick this up on vinyl, at least grab the MP3. So that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Thanks as always for watching. If you've listened to this record, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. Head over to my Steam It blog and WordPress blog, where that's where I will have the audio links as well, if I can find it, a download link, so you can check it out for yourself if you haven't listened to this yet. So as I said, that's gonna be it for me today. Thanks as always for watching. This is gonna be my last video for a little while. I got a couple of other projects that I'm working on, so it might be a little while before I upload again, but I will try to get back to record reviews and other vlogs and stuff like that in the not too distant future. So until then, thanks as always for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out!